What's up, everybody? This is Rainbow Nash, and the first thing I would like to do is give out a shout out to my fellow faqer, Moopehh, or however he pronounces his name. Should probably ask him. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a product review of the Razer Onza Tournament Edition controller. I'm gonna start with the overall. Let you know I personally just don't like it. I didn't feel it, and your mileage may vary. And I'm gonna go into some of the details. So I'm gonna start with what I did like, and then keep going downhill from there. Okay, so the first biggest boon of the controller for me was probably the hypersensitive face buttons. I liked that before I would almost never lose a chainsaw duel. I got freaking Mario Party skills with that B button, and with the hypersensitive buttons, never. It's like I had a freaking modded B button. It was ridiculous. I liked that. I liked that a lot. And if I could mod a normal pad for it, so I could have that on a normal Microsoft pad, then I would totally do it. The next thing I liked was the repositioning of the start and back buttons. No longer have to worry about accidentally reaching my thumb over a little too far and pressing the guide button, which can screw you over in the actual game when you're trying to look at the scoreboard or something. About the multifunction buttons, I didn't really find them very useful at all. To me, the only things that would be worth remapping would probably be the right trigger, which I'll get into later. And then you also have the A button as a multifunction button, so that you can wall bounce without having to take your thumb off the stick. That was pretty much wall bouncing the only time where that would even be a concern, and that's if you are going to be facing the direction in which you wall bounce, so you want to be able to wall bounce quickly, which means you want to be able to turn the stick quickly. But for rolling or other applications, pretty much as soon as you press the A button, or as soon as you let go of the A button, rather, you can get your thumb back on the stick before your character's able to act. Same with coming out of a roadie run. You can get your thumb back on the stick. Unless you run past a guy and you need to turn all the way around, then I guess every millisecond will count, but I don't do that very often. I also wanted to get into things that I didn't like about it. The things I didn't like were the longer sticks. Now this might be different on the normal version of the Onza versus the Tournament Edition, because the Tournament Edition has the adjustable bands, which I'll also get into later. But basically, they advertise that longer sticks will give you better accuracy. Found it was just the opposite. The longer sticks made so I was putting more pressure on the stick because I had a more open grip, and it made the movements of the stick a little bit more jerky, less fluid, which negatively impacted my accuracy. The next thing I'll get into is the tension bands for the sticks, which are only present on the Tournament Edition. I thought they were less than useless. They actually caused problems for me. Like, my left stick would the stick was in the center, so I don't know what was up with the whole thing, but all I know is every now and then I'd get a down input on the left stick, and in menus when I'm trying to select options, it'd really be annoying when you back out of a menu because you went down to the last option, exit, when you wanted to go and play or something. So I ended up actually having to do the opposite of my original intent. My original intent was to tighten them up so I could increase my sensitivity and have it available when I needed it, but the increased tension in the bands would mean that by default I was still simulating less sensitivity because I wouldn't be pressing the stick as far. But I actually had to loosen the bands up pretty much all the way to stop that that little glitch or whatever it was from happening. So it just ended up not being useful at all. And this guy, what a jerk! And this guy likes to complain about how his team's garbage and whatnot. And it seems to me that you kind of, I guess, it's a karma almost, you know. We end up losing the game, because, I mean, we've had 2 bots since the first round, which I'm surprised we did as good as we did. I didn't think it'd go to 3 rounds. I figured we'd get freaking punked if we got 2 bots that are going to run out there and get themselves killed all the damn time. But it didn't end up that way. We end up winning this round, but we lose the next one for the total loss. Anyway, back to the controller. The last thing I didn't like about it was that the triggers to make room for the multifunction buttons were placed a little lower. You'll notice if you go back on my older videos, my hammer burst is actually a lot slower than it is here. That's because my fingers weren't quite adjusted to the grip, and so I actually was hitting the trigger pretty much at the top. I'm not really getting the center of my finger where my force was onto the trigger. I was like just nubbing it or whatever. It didn't work out for me. But your mileage, you know, could vary. I do look forward to trying out the MLG Mad Catz controller because it has hair triggers, which I guess would be like the hypersensitive buttons on the face of the Onza, but for your triggers. So I might actually be able to fire faster than with the normal gamepad, which would be pretty cool. But you know, first I have to find a way to justify spending $100 on something that I don't actually need. Anyway, and we'll see how that goes. This gameplay, you know, I'm surprised with how well my team does. You know, like I was saying, we actually this might have made me a little mad. Not mad at the game, just mad at me. Like, see, I missed that shot right there. I could have had a double and not died, but instead I had a single and did die. And I don't know if you heard that guy, but you know, that was the complainer. Anyway, and that's pretty much all I've got for this gameplay. I wanted to give another shout out to Moopehh, that one right there that I'm about to kill. Yeah, he's awesome. Anyway, have a few more gameplays that I'm actually going to be posting up with this. So, see you inside. Rainbow Nash out. P.S. I meant to go back into why I would remap the right trigger on the Razer Onza to the right multifunction button, and that was, well, because of the problems that I had with the triggers that I just described. Hitting that multifunction button was indeed faster than hitting a trigger. It was an actual button. That's why I look kind of forward to having hair triggers on the MLG Mad Catz Pro Circuit controller. I don't know if there's any more words in there. I know it's a really long name. Anyway, besides that, I wanted to point out that, as I'm sure you noticed, I did have to make a lot of cuts to this gameplay in the editing process, but none of the video footage while I'm alive has been cut. The only cuts I've made were when the camera follows the person who killed me, or the intermissions between rounds, the start and end of the game. Alright, and with that, I will bid you a true adieu.